A massive floating fortress hangs ominously over the city against a blood-red sky. Suddenly, a shimmering purple vortex tears open the fabric of reality itself. From it extends a chained pathway leading to a mysterious floating dungeon, and walking towards it is the world's most elite team, looking way too confident. This news reveals this is the Divine Rhinoceros Corps tackling the final SSS-level dungeon. The ground everyone's watching, though some are just hoping for a spectacular failure. Their leader is a guy named Yan Hanshuo, rocking a full set of SSS-grade gear. Our boy looks completely calm, like this is just another Tuesday for him. He introduces himself, a 32-year-old pro at the absolute peak of his game. His world changed forever when mysterious space-time gates started appearing everywhere. At first, people ignored them until ferocious monsters started pouring out to attack. So humanity adapted, learning to fight back and use monster drops for equipment. In this new world, what matters most is not wealth but your innate potential rank. A rich guy with E-grade potential is useless, crying into his pile of money. But if you are born with S-grade talent, associations will literally fight to recruit you. As a kid, Yan Hanshuo tested with SSS-level potential, basically winning the genetic lottery. His life became a total cheat code, clearing his first dungeons as a literal child. By 18, he was already solo clearing B-level dungeons with a smug grin. At 25, he led the first human team ever to conquer an S-level dungeon. Now he is a living legend with statues and everything, the guy expected to save the world. Yan Hanshuo gives the order to move in, his team hyped and ready for battle. With a single step forward, the ancient chains binding the pathway completely shatter. This entire Divine Rhinoceros Corps marches into the abyss, looking like they own the place. But our boy's narration warns us this final dungeon is where his perfect life takes a turn. Inside, a welcoming committee of creepy shadow monsters is already lying in wait for them. This fight kicks off instantly, with team members dodging a flurry of nasty-looking attacks. One of their swordsmen just becomes a whirlwind of death, carving through the monster mob. At the same time, the team's tank just punches the ground, unleashing a massive shockwave. Monsters go flying everywhere, and one unlucky goblin gets a giant foot to the face. This magic user duo just watches the chaos, probably thinking this is all beneath them. Yan Hanshuo himself finally gets that serious time to work look in his eyes. And just in time, because a deformed giant boss monster lumbers into view to say hello. Another teammate is busy taking on a massive serpent, because why fight just one boss, right? A different tentacled beast gets absolutely skewered right through the chest. A system prompt confirms the monster is poisoned and can barely move. Great teamwork. This team's archer, guided by a smug-looking purple-haired woman, prepares his shot. He draws back a ridiculously powerful flaming arrow, ready to light up the boss. Two blazing projectiles fly straight and true towards the giant's ugly face. They land dead-on in its eyes, causing the beast to roar in absolute agony. Though it is still standing, a pink-haired scythe user gets a damage boost to finish it off. This pink-haired scythe user leaps in, smugly announcing she will reluctantly take the boss down. Her weapon glows with a terrifying energy as she brings it down for the killing blow, and it connects with a massive slash, carving a canyon right through the giant's head. With the beast seemingly dead, the now red-haired user just walks off with a casual hee-hee, problem solved. But then the arrow wounds in the giant's eyes begin to glow with a sinister red light. Its entire body starts to melt into a disgusting pile of goo, which is never a good sign. This scythe user's cocky expression completely disappears, realizing he messed up big time. He swings again in a panic, trying to shred whatever is left of the monster. His attack tears right through the beast's torso, but it does not even slow the thing down. As the body dissolves, the giant's head just hangs there, staring down at them menacingly. Then the monster just reforms from the puddle, stomping back into existence like nothing happened. Yan Hanshuo has to remind his team that this is an SSS-level dungeon, so maybe stop showboating. This whole squad finally gets serious, regrouping as they prepare for the real fight. Suddenly, a massive blue energy slash cuts through the air, narrowly missing them, and they all look up to see what new horror the dungeon has cooked up. It is a whole new horde of creepy, gray-skinned monsters charging right at them from the shadows. Yan Hanshuo notes they're facing a swarm with zero intel since no one's ever made it out alive. He orders a teammate named Samo to slow the monsters down and contain the swarm. This Samo, a woman dressed like a nun with horns, starts praying for the poor creatures before her. Right before her robes rip off to reveal a battle outfit and huge guns, promising to send them all to hell. Samo unleashes a storm of lead with the most unhinged, joyful expression I have ever seen. Her bullets appear to rip right through the charging monsters, landing devastating hits. Except they are actually charm plus 10 hearts, turning the entire horde into her blushing fan club. These newly smitten creatures immediately abandon the fight and start climbing the giant boss's leg. They begin tearing into their old master, proving that love really does hurt, at least for the giant. With the mobs now conveniently distracted, the team sprints up a jagged, rocky slope. Yan Hanshuo takes point, calling out an attack named Rainbow as he charges his energy. His next move is Lotus, which causes massive boulders to levitate ominously around him. With a single, blindingly fast motion, he swings his weapon through the floating rocks and unleashes a massive, cross-shaped wave of golden light that obliterates the path ahead. This attack absolutely shreds the remaining monsters, clearing the way in one devastating move. This scythe user ironically complains about cruelty, so Yan Hanshuo just tells him to clear the area. Their path is now open, though the ground is completely shattered from the sheer force of their assault. Looking down from their new vantage point, they see a massive, ominous gate waiting for them. This team finally reaches the boss room entrance, a place littered with bones and creepy statues. Yan Hanshuo knows this is uncharted territory, the final chamber no one has ever reached alive. He orders everyone to use every buff they have, as they have got less than 2 minutes to win this. A teammate offers him a newly developed potion that can boost all his buffs by 20%. Our boy downs the strange purple liquid without a moment's hesitation, trusting his squad completely. As the power surges through him, Yan Hanshuo announces their fate will be decided right now. With a deep groan, the massive doors to the final boss room swing open. Yan Hanshuo steps inside, noting it is suspiciously quiet for a supposed final battle. He walks on ahead, only to realize his entire team has stopped dead at the entrance. Turning back, he asks what the hell they are all doing just standing there watching him. Suddenly, his eyes widen in shock as a wave of pure agony rips through his body, and one of his own teammates strikes him from behind in a shocking, brutal betrayal. He collapses to his knees, completely bewildered and staring at his own hands in confusion. For a second, he thinks his clothes are getting bigger, but then realizes he is shrinking fast. A system alert confirms the worst. He's been hit with a paralysis poison and his body is shutting down. Then his legendary SSS grade gear just starts falling off with warnings he is too weak to wear it. Now a little child, he tries to warn them about a boss room trap, still not getting it, poor guy. Samo just strolls up to him with a creepy little giggle, which is never a good sign. She leans in close, smugly confirming that her little plan worked perfectly on the captain. In that instant, the horrifying truth finally clicks for Yan Hanshuo. It was them all along. His whole squad surrounds him, with Samo shamelessly commenting on how cute he is as a kid. This potion giver explains with a grin that it was a de-aging poison because he was just too strong to kill. This guy continues his villain monologue, explaining a kid's body cannot handle SSS gear, leaving him defenseless. Samo immediately starts looting his body, claiming his necklace since she is the only one without top-tier stuff. This rest of the vultures descend, picking over his legendary equipment to upgrade themselves. Powerless on the ground, Yan Hanshuo just asks why they'd betray him, were not they a team? Yan Hanshuo demands answers, but the potion giver just mockingly passes the buck to the new leader, Yanzai. This Yanzai, holding some ridiculously oversized sword, just stares down at him like he is yesterday's news. His grand explanation for the betrayal is a cold, simple "I have nothing to say" peak villain dialogue right there. With a final "see you in the next life," they just abandon him in the pitch-black boss room to die. Years start to blur together as our boy is left to rot in total, agonizing isolation. After a full 10 years, he is still trapped in this throne room, a kid completely alone with his thoughts. He cannot get over the betrayal, thinking about all their years of friendship and camaraderie. His rage finally boils over, his eyes completely bloodshot with pure, unadulterated hatred for his old team. Just then, the dungeon's actual monsters decide to wake up and say hello to the lone child. A massive shadow beast looms over him, ready to finish what his friends started. This final boss is a towering, spiky horror that was apparently just waiting for the room to be empty. And with one swift, brutal attack, it looks like Yan Hanshuo is completely obliterated. But a system prompt reveals he accidentally completed a hidden quest by being betrayed. Talk about failing upwards. His vision slowly returns to a very interesting angle of a statue in the room. It is a full-on weeping angel statue, which is a totally normal thing to find in a death dungeon. Waking up beside it, Yan Hanshuo is justifiably confused about why he is not dead yet. He sees the system window explaining the sacrifice for righteousness quest he just aced by default. This quest details confirm his sacrifice earned him a one-time rebirth, which is some serious dumb luck. Suddenly, he realizes something is very, very wrong with his body, because the rebirth brought him back to life but did not bother to make him an adult again. A system prompt clarifies that rebirth perfectly copies the body at the time of death, no excuses, no refunds, which means Yan Hanshuo is stuck with the kid body he died in, much to his visible annoyance. He realizes his old team genuinely betrayed him. This whole rebirth thing was just a lucky accident. This system just revived the poisoned, shrunken body it found, permanently locking him in this form. So now he is alive again but completely powerless, wondering what the point of it all even is. His old teammates loom in his memory, a constant reminder of how outmatched he is now. Completely defeated, our boy just lies down in front of the statue, ready to give up for good. But then a new system window pops up right in his face because this dungeon loves drama. It is a reminder about his quest reward. A special system is being bound to his soul. Yan Hanshuo sits up in total shock, completely blindsided by this sudden turn of events. This limitless system lets him equip any gear, completely ignoring level requirements. He stares at the screen, the gears in his head finally starting to turn again. His eyes go wide as he understands the absolutely game-breaking potential of this new power. Even as a weakling, he could wield S-rank weapons or higher, the ultimate loophole. Suddenly, his future looks a lot brighter, surrounded by the silhouettes of legendary weapons. He has to double-check with the system, asking if this cheat code is actually for real. For a second, the system just stares back silently, making him sweat a little. When it threatens to take the offer back, he panics and begs for it like a kid for candy. As a welcome gift, the system offers him one free B-rank weapon of his choice. and suddenly he is surrounded by weapon options, looking totally overwhelmed by his first big decision. Yan Hanshuo mulls over his weapon choice, thinking a lightsaber might not be subtle enough for his revenge. A short blade seems like the logical pick for an assassin build, so he considers it for a moment, but he immediately dismisses it with a grimace, complaining it is too small and not nearly intimidating enough. His finger instead lands on a massive greatsword, which the system notes has far superior fatal strike potential. This system confirms his selection, issuing him a B-rank weapon called Steel Radiance Extinction. This glowing blue blade materializes out of thin air, descending right into his waiting hands. He grips the hilt tightly, his eyes filled with a cold, renewed sense of purpose. And it actually works. The kid is now wielding a sword almost as tall as he is thanks to his new cheat system. With this power, he finally has a real chance to take back everything that was stolen from him. His determined face reflects in the blade as a new chapter begins, ominously titled Oscar Winner. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon, a massive portal swirls open, catching the attention of a waiting crowd. A whole press corps rushes forward as figures finally start to emerge from the gate. One reporter just stares in absolute shock at the sight of the survivors. It is his old squad, striking a pose like they are the heroes who just conquered hell itself. They are all bruised and battered, putting on a good show of having barely made it out alive. This press immediately swarms them, asking if they finally cleared the legendary SSS-Rank dungeon. Yanzai, the new leader, just smirks to his team and says it is time for their performance to begin. A reporter immediately asks where Captain Yan Hanshuo is, and Samo puts on her best fake worried face. Clutching a fake wound, Yanzai launches into a sob story about how they failed against an unbeatable monster. Then he delivers the final, gut-wrenching lie, blaming their entire failure on their fallen captain. Yanzai's team launches their masterclass in acting, claiming the captain's reckless confidence got him killed. His old squad puts on their best somber faces for the cameras, sighing dramatically for effect. This potion giver fakes a breakdown, announcing Yan Hanshuo charged in too deep and never made it out alive. And the press corps absolutely eats it up, their faces a mask of pure shock and horror. Another teammate steps up to cry about how he was not strong enough to save the captain, give this man an Oscar. He even clutches his coat in fake anguish, really selling the whole tragic survivor routine. Immediately, public opinion turns, with people whispering about how the captain's stubbornness doomed them all. This nun character then twists the knife, suggesting he was an egomaniac trying to prove he was the best. Someone scolds her for speaking ill of the dead, but her creepy little smirk tells the real story. Then the potion giver has the audacity to claim Yan Hanshuo entrusted his gear to them to keep the flame alive. In a private thought, one of them scoffs at how hypocritical the captain was, caring about his reputation to the end. This scythe user adds his own salty take, grumbling that if he loved the spotlight so much, he should have gone in alone. With a perfectly sinister grin, the new leader vows to get stronger and personally avenge the captain. This crowd goes absolutely wild, chanting for their new heroes to lead humanity and expel the beasts. They are completely fired up, totally unaware they are cheering for the actual villains of the story. And the traitors just stand there, soaking in the undeserved adoration like they are actual heroes. Meanwhile, back in the now-sealed dungeon, the last wisps of portal energy finally fade away. This nun's fake piety drops in an instant, replaced by a truly sinister, bloodthirsty grin. That massive dungeon portal swirls shut, sealing the boss room in total darkness once again. But on the other side, Yan Hanshuo just scoffs as it closes. The hunt is officially on. Yan Hanshuo is absolutely seething, calling their whole performance shameless and ridiculous. This sheer conviction of their betrayal still shocks him, remembering how they acted like friends. His memories are now tainted, seeing the shadows of the traitors who once stood at his back. Still, he cannot wrap his head around the motive. Was it really just for his SSS grade loot? Whatever the reason, he concludes their betrayal was just pure, unadulterated insanity. This memory of their smug, lying faces flashes through his mind, the ones who took everything. With renewed purpose, he vows to expose them all and leave no traitor standing. This scene then shifts to a quiet inn at night, a temporary hideout for our boy. Inside a bathroom, water runs as he gets ready to wash away the past 10 years of grime. And whoa, he is not a kid anymore. He is a young man now, having dyed his hair to create a new identity. With a moment to breathe, his frantic rage starts to give way to colder calculation. Staring at his reflection, he is more confused by the why asterisk of the betrayal than consumed by revenge. He rules out any magical excuses like brainwashing, suspecting it all comes down to greed for his gear. A news report on TV is already broadcasting their official story, that Captain Yan Hanshuo died inside the dungeon. Then the broadcast mentions a high school selection tournament, sparking a memory of his own dominant debut. This tournament might be his way in, a chance to find answers about his old squad's connections. He knows revenge is a marathon, not a sprint. Step 1 is establishing a whole new identity. This plan is simple: leverage his SSS grade potential in the tournament to get the attention of the top brass. While the news anchor wonders if a new genius will emerge, the real one is sitting right there plotting. A confident smirk plays on his lips. He is about to re-enter the game on his own terms. Yan Hanshuo gets a wicked grin, absolutely thrilled to relive the joys of high school, said no one ever. Having decided on a student cover, his first step is to get the necessary paperwork sorted out. So naturally, he heads straight for the most reputable district in the city for official documents. In a dark alley, our boy looks for the specific kind of service he needs to get back in the game. He recalls hearing this place was a hub for illegal activities, which is exactly what he is counting on. One of those activities just happens to be forging identity cards, his ticket to a new life. This whole neighborhood looks like a great place to get mugged, but he just strolls on through. Finally, he finds the shady-looking establishment he was searching for and knocks on the door. A very tired-looking thug answers, clearly annoyed by the late-night visitor. Yan Hanshuo politely asks for a fake id, helpfully adding that he can pay for it. This guy just stares, processing the fact that a literal child is asking for black market services. Then a greedy smirk spreads across his face as he assumes this kid is an orphan no one will miss. Suddenly, the entire alley fills with thugs, and it is clear this was a trap from the start. Yan Hanshuo, however, looks completely bored by this development, not even a little bit concerned. Their leader steps up with a bat, explaining they are actually in the organ harvesting business. Great career choice. Our boy is genuinely surprised. His intel only mentioned borderline crimes, not this level of depravity. This leader charges forward, promising to be gentle before he carves him up, which is so considerate. But a dark aura flares around Yan Hanshuo as he prepares to teach them a lesson in manners. With a single, lightning-fast kick, he sends the bat flying right back into the thug's face. This leader goes airborne as his cronies just watch in stunned silence, realizing they messed up big time. These thugs finally realize their mistake, identifying him as a D-rank challenger way out of their league. Complaining about his terrible luck, Yan Hanshuo's no-level system powers up. His new B-rank sword materializes, leaving the goons absolutely speechless and terrified by its power. Our boy just cannot catch a break, running into child traffickers right after being betrayed by his team. A system window confirms activation is complete, which is just terrible news for the organ harvesters. With his B-rank greatsword equipped, he wonders why his life always has to be this dramatic. Meanwhile, in a much fancier location, the traitors are having a little post-murder meeting. After the Horned Nun confirms the room is secure, they get down to planning their next move. Preening in the mirror, Yanzai explains the school wants them at a tournament to replace their fallen hero. That creepy nun tells him to just look sad and she will handle all the actual thinking, which tracks. Another teammate asks why he is all dressed up today when the event is tomorrow. In front of the mirror, Yanzai just adjusts his suit, looking impossibly smug. He turns with a slimy grin, announcing that he has a date to attend. This scene cuts to a framed photo of Yan Hanshuo with his fiancée. Oh no. We then see her watching the news report that officially confirms her fiancé's death in the dungeon. This poor woman, Yue Lingting, is completely heartbroken by the devastating news. Picking up their picture, she clutches it as she grieves for the man she lost. Whispering his name, she is lost in a moment of pure sorrow, until a sound at the door suddenly breaks the silence, catching her attention. Looking up, she sees Yanzai standing there, and for a horrible second, she thinks it is Hanshuo. Yanzai stands at the door, looking like a vulture who just got a promotion. She is stunned he has a key, but he claims her parents gave it to him to check on her, so thoughtful. Clutching the photo, she just wants to be alone, but this guy clearly is not taking the hint. He immediately invades her space, putting an arm around her in a move that screams predator. Then he starts his pitch, telling her Yan Hanshuo was not worth her love anyway. This snake spins a tale of how Hanshuo was a petty, selfish leader who endangered them all. But Yue Lingting is not buying it for a second, shoving him off and defending Hanshuo's character. In her eyes, he was a hero who could overcome anything, and she refuses to hear otherwise. Meanwhile, the actual hero is in a rainy alley, sword glowing, ready to deal with some low-level trash. Our boy is completely unimpressed, telling the whole gang to attack at once since he has places to be. Taking the bait, the thugs charge in, screaming about how they are going to teach this arrogant kid a lesson. One of them even mocks his B-rank weapon, confident he can still beat him senseless, famous last words. Yan Hanshuo just calmly notes that his old skills are perfectly adaptable to this new blade. With effortless grace, he parries their clumsy attacks, the skill difference being painfully obvious. A smirk crosses his face as he prepares to unleash a skill called Drawblade Slash. This system confirms he is about to use a maxed-out B-rank skill, which is just total overkill for these guys. In one clean sweep, a flash of light sends the entire group flying backwards in a heap. Their weapons are shattered midair and their faces are pure unadulterated shock. Now the alley is just a pile of groaning bodies, the fight over before it even really started. This last man standing can only tremble and ask who the hell he is, staring at the lone silhouette. Yan Hanshuo says he is just a guy who hates letting people down. A little late for that, buddy. This last thug is now peeking through the door, absolutely terrified of what is outside. He is practically melting with fear, trying to process the one-sided beatdown he just witnessed. With a chilling smile, Yan Hanshuo asks if they are ready to discuss that id card now. Back at the apartment, Yue Lingting slaps Yanzai's hand away, telling him he has no right to meddle. But Yanzai just smirks, claiming he absolutely has the right to be there. He then drops a bombshell. Her parents have already agreed to his marriage proposal. This wedding is scheduled for 1 month from now, leaving her completely stunned and horrified. Meanwhile, back in the alley, the now-reformed thug meekly hands over the forged id card. He is practically begging for forgiveness, insisting the whole organ harvesting thing was just a joke. Please do not kill us. Yan Hanshuo plays along, saying he knew it was a bluff, and the thug breathes a huge sigh of relief. This guy tries to reason that a D-rank challenger would not be involved in something as grimy as child trafficking. Seeing our boy's confidence, the thug assumes he must have some powerful backer pulling the strings. But Yan Hanchuo just powers up, explaining that while he will not reveal his boss, punishment is still on the menu. This thug's face drains of all color as he realizes he is not getting out of this clean. A flurry of blows echoes through the rainy alley, guess the negotiations are over. And there he is, slumped against a crate with a fresh brand on his forehead for his troubles. As dawn breaks, the alley is quiet again, the night's business officially concluded. Yan Hanchuo emerges into the morning light, looking like he just pulled a very productive all-nighter. Holding his new id, he reflects on his first morning in this new body. The game is officially back on. Meet Zio Hyujin, the brand new identity Yan Hanchuo just acquired for his comeback tour. His first stop is the high school selection tournament, and the line to sign up is absolutely ridiculous. Apparently his death inspired a whole generation of hero wannabes, some even claim he visits their dreams. Luckily, our boy got there early and is just chilling on the sidelines, watching the chaos unfold. He is also completely broke, wondering if he will be sleeping on the streets since SSS-Rank potential does not pay up front. Then he overhears some guys calling the late hero Yan Hanchuo a show-off and a total clown. This charming group of delinquents mocks the news for even wanting another hero like him to begin with. One genius argues Hanchuo was only strong because of his gear, a classic gamer excuse. Someone tries to defend him but gets shut down for supporting a guy who betrayed his teammates. This main bully laughs, calling Hanchuo a delusional kid playing savior, which is just incredibly rich. But out of nowhere, a blonde fanboy steps up, absolutely refusing to let them slander his hero's name. Yan Hanchuo himself is genuinely surprised to see someone actually sticking up for him. This kid launches into a whole speech about how Hanchuo saved humanity from the brink of defeat. Everyone around them just stops to watch the drama, completely captivated by the argument. This lead thug is not having it, his face twisting with rage at being challenged so publicly. That anger quickly turns into a smug, condescending grin as he prepares his comeback. He starts spewing the official story, that Hanchuo was a glory hog who hoarded loot and endangered everyone. His words leave the poor fanboy speechless, calling individual heroism a dangerous idea. Then the bully recognizes the kid as a famous hunter's son and mocks him for being an F-rank failure. With that, he lunges in to deliver a lesson, ready to beat the heroism right out of him. This bully gloats over the fanboy he just decked, smugly announcing that the kid totally asked for it. From the sidelines, Yan Hanchuo just watches this whole mess unfold with a completely neutral expression. He internally apologizes, admitting he cannot step in without blowing his cover or revealing he is flat broke. This punk keeps running his mouth, mocking the kid for being an F-rank failure with a famous dad. But the fanboy is not backing down, clenching his fist with pure, unadulterated determination. He summons an F-rank wooden club, peak of the armory, right there and swings with all his might. His opponent just scoffs, pulling out a D-rank silver axe to show him the massive difference in class. Onlookers are stunned, realizing this guy is a D-rank challenger, which is apparently a huge deal for a teenager. And yeah, the D-rank axe connects, sending the fanboy flying with a pretty brutal-looking hit. Just as the bully goes for another swing, Yan Hanchuo appears out of nowhere, stopping the axe with one hand. This poor fanboy is completely baffled, trying to process who the hell just saved him. Our boy, meanwhile, looks like he is just catching a frisbee, totally unfazed by the weapon. He clarifies he is not here to be a hero. He just heard the words, wealthy family, and got interested. This bully's crew rushes in, absolutely furious that someone dared to interrupt their public beatdown. Screaming bloody murder, the whole gang charges forward to attack Yan Hanchuo at once. Everyone in the crowd freaks out, realizing this is about to turn into a full-on brawl. Yan Hanchuo just calmly holds the axe, telling the bully to hand it over like he is asking for a pen. Then with a single, lightning-fast kick, he sends the D-rank punk flying backwards. This force of the impact is so great it shatters the silver axe into a dozen pieces midair. And now all that is left of the bully's prized weapon is a pile of splinters at our boy's feet. Yan Hanchuo gives the fanboy a quick lesson on the fine line between having courage and being an idiot. Then he turns his attention to the groaning pile of bullies, announcing he has a few words for them too. Picking up the shattered axe, he launches into a surprisingly deep speech about social hierarchy, very profound for a street fight. Our boy continues his impromptu philosophy lesson, looking way too cool for someone who just broke a weapon with his foot. Onlookers are absolutely losing their minds, realizing there is another D-rank challenger in the mix. But his lecture gets cut short when a well-dressed, blue-haired guy steps in to lecture him about bullying. This newcomer just grabs the weapon with one hand, completely halting Yan Hanchuo's momentum. He calmly explains that fighting is not the answer, which is a bit late for the guy who just got kicked into next week. Yan Hanchuo seems genuinely surprised by this intervention as the guy advises him to quit while he is ahead. Then the crowd erupts, identifying the newcomer as an S-rank instructor named Ching Ganghui, and apparently he is a total heartthrob. Impressed, the instructor asks for our boy's name, noting his potential while the bullies wisely make a run for it. For a split second, he almost blurts out his real name, Yan Han, before catching himself and awkwardly introducing himself as Zio Wujin's smooth recovery buddy. This instructor buys it, promising to keep an eye on Zio Wujin as he walks off. Yan Hanchuo just watches him leave, his expression turning serious now that the coast is clear. Meanwhile, the S-rank instructor muses on how unpredictable life is, getting schooled by a kid before a big event. And with that, we are officially at the 8th Joint High School Tournament. This venue is massive, a huge stage set up for the potential assessment conference. An announcer kicks things off, confirming a record-breaking number of participants will be assessed alphabetically. Our boy and his new fanboy friend realize their last names put them at the very end of the list, just as the announcer teases some special guests. Just as the announcer hypes up the special guests, the blonde fanboy politely asks Yan Hanshuo to make way. Our boy apologizes and steps aside, completely oblivious to who is about to walk past him. But then his eyes go wide with shock as he recognizes the approaching group. It is the Divine Rhino Corps, his old squad, walking through the crowd like they own the place. Onlookers immediately start gossiping, wondering why the team that just got wiped is here as cheerleaders. Ouch. This fanboy, however, is just completely mesmerized by their top-tier intimidating aura. A reporter hands a microphone to the new leader, a guy with glasses and a very punchable face. He introduces himself as Yan Zich, the acting captain, here to grace the students with his presence. His speech immediately throws shade, bringing up the damage caused by their former captain's actions. Then he pulls a PR masterstroke, saying everyone should still see Hanshuo as a role model despite his one mistake. This fanboy is sharp enough to feel the hidden daggers in those words, and he is absolutely right. Yan Zich continues his fake defense, calling Hanshuo a pioneer and a hero who was not arrogant at all. But the crowd completely misreads it, deciding Hanshuo must have been a total monster to endanger such loyal teammates. With his reputation successfully tarnished, Yan Zich points to the crowd and kicks off the assessment competition. The students go absolutely nuts, screaming about getting S-rank potential and surpassing the failed hero, and the first contestant steps up to the plate full of dreams, only to get a soul-crushing F-rank. Next in line is another hopeful, who manages to score a slightly less embarrassing E-rank potential. This third guy is literally crying over his E-rank result, so much for the next generation of heroes. This fanboy is just sighing, pointing out that after 100 people they have yet to see anything above an E-rank. Yan Hanshuo just wonders why potential is only detected at 15 now, remembering it used to be way earlier. This fanboy explains that parents used to abandon low-potential kids, a super cheerful thought for the day. So the government moved the testing age to 15 to prevent literal baby dumping, which is just wow. Another hopeful steps up to the machine, full of confidence and a truly questionable top knot. He actually scores a C-rank potential, the first decent result all day, though he is still E-rank now. Everyone in the crowd absolutely loses it, and the guy's ego inflates to the size of a small moon. This dude is radiating some serious I am the main character energy with a side of unhinged goblin. But an official steps in, raining on his parade by questioning his confidence, never a good sign. Then the official just screams that he is disqualified for breaking the rules, shutting him down instantly. Turns out our C-rank prodigy was trying to fudge the numbers because he is not actually 15. This official reveals their new machine also detects age, and this guy is a whole 19 years old. Now the crowd's tune changes. A 19-year-old C-rank is actually pretty pathetic and the hype dies. While the fanboy is impressed by the tech, Yan Hanshuo realizes this is very, very bad news for him. His internal monologue is just pure panic. This machine might ping him as a 32-year-old man. As the cheater gets dragged away to be blacklisted, our boy decides it is time to make a quiet exit. With Yan Zich watching from the stage, getting exposed here is absolutely not an option. This fanboy notices him leaving, but Yan Hanshuo is already on his way out the door. Suddenly, his escape is blocked by a very familiar group of idiots. This bully and his goons are back, mocking him for trying to flee the competition. At that moment, a commotion draws everyone's attention, even the S-rank instructors. This bully smirks, guessing our boy is some old D-rank loser trying to pass as a student. Oh, if he only knew. This fanboy's face falls as he asks if Woojin is also an overage cheater trying to sneak in. A dark aura surrounds our boy as the pressure mounts. The legend in disguise is totally cornered. With everyone watching, the fanboy's question hangs in the air, putting Yan Hanshuo right on the spot. He just turns to leave, but the bully and his crew are conveniently blocking the only exit. This lead punk gets all chummy, grabbing his shoulder and mocking him for trying to run away. Then he gets real sinister, saying trying to flee is an admission of guilt and a serious crime. His goons join in, demanding he be punished publicly to make an example out of him. Even the fanboy is getting held back now as the crowd decides our boy is just some shameless fraud. Suddenly, two officials step in, politely asking for his details so they can press charges. Trapped with no way out, Yan Hanshuo realizes he has only got one option left. This bully just laughs in his face, smugly asking what choice he could possibly have now. And our boy hits him with a killer smirk, announcing his choice is to go on stage and take the test. Everyone, including the fanboy, is completely floored, thinking he has lost his mind and is asking for humiliation. Yan Hanshuo calmly tells the officials he is a legit contestant, and they just stammer that there is no problem. This bully's crew is left completely dumbfounded, trying to figure out what his angle could possibly be. Meanwhile, up in the VIP section, some bigwigs notice the noise but dismiss it as irrelevant drama. So Yan Hanshuo just strolls onto the main stage, heading straight for the age-detecting machine. As he approaches, he is analyzing the tech, realizing it does not use any biological samples for its reading. This leads him to a pretty sharp deduction. There are only two ways this machine could actually work. He figures either the first cheater was a paid actor or the whole thing is a massive bluff to scare people off. With his hand on the machine, Yan Hanshuo bets everything on his second theory. His fanboy friend looks on, practically vibrating with anxiety for him. Meanwhile, the bully and his crew are just waiting for the public humiliation to begin. Even Yan Zich watches from the VIP seats, looking down with that same smug face. And the machine lights up, officially detecting his age as 15 years old. This fanboy absolutely erupts with joy while the bullies cannot believe their eyes. Yan Hanshuo just gives a cool, knowing smirk. He knew it would work. Inside his head, he reveals he deduced there are special inspectors with detection abilities. He realized the machine was just a prop and the official holding the mic was the real scanner. This whole gamble was based on a potion that can fake a creature's age and level. This also confirms the potion that de-aged him is the same type, a massive clue for his future. Then the machine announces his potential and it is a jaw-dropping SSS rank. This entire crowd, including the bully's goons, is just frozen in complete disbelief. Those officials who were about to arrest him are now sweating bullets, realizing their massive screw-up. As for the bully and his friends, their faces are a beautiful collage of pure shock and regret. Yan Zich even comments that the kid's aura reminds him of his failed predecessor. Oh, the irony. But the machine is not done yet, trying to scan for his current combat level. It spits out an error, unable to detect a level, which the official brushes off as a tech glitch. So the announcer just ushers our new SSS rank prodigy off the stage with a round of applause. And with that little bit of world-shattering drama over, the assessment just continues. After that SSS rank bombshell, the assessments get back to the usual parade of D rank potentials. Then some guy who looks like he has not slept in a week steps up and casually scores in a rank. Onlookers are impressed, but also note this is one of the clowns who tried to pick a fight with Yan Hanshuo. Oops. Next up is a girl in a school uniform, who immediately tells her gushing fanboys in the crowd to shut up. Our boy's fanboy friend squints, realizing she looks incredibly familiar but cannot quite place her. And then it hits him, that is Yan Hanshuo's adopted daughter, the orphan he raised. Yan Hanshuo himself watches from the sidelines, thinking it is turning into a real family reunion today. With a completely stoic expression, his daughter places her hand on the assessment machine. It immediately flashes SS rank potential, and the announcer just about has a heart attack on stage. This bullies who picked the fight are now collectively losing their minds, realizing they messed with a family of monsters. From the VIP section, Yan Zich calmly tells security to maintain order, his face a mask of cold calculation. This show must go on, and another girl in a yellow dress scores a very respectable rank. Following her is a guy with a long ponytail who pulls an S rank, proving this year's talent pool is deep. Yet another S ranker appears, a blonde kid with glasses, though his current level is a measly F rank. This new guy smugly calls people with high potential but low rank exquisitely packaged trash. What a charmer. This announcer gathers all the rank and above students, promising them their choice of high school and a fat sponsorship. Instructor Ching Ganghui is impressed by the 4 S-rank potentials, while his subordinate is sweating bullets for provoking a god. Even among the elites, there is a clear power gap, with one of them admitting he feels totally out of their league. To present the awards, the announcer proudly welcomes the acting captain Yan Zich to the stage, but his introduction cuts off as his face freezes in absolute shock like he has just seen a ghost. Yan Zich's victory speech is cut short by a bunch of flaming things falling from the sky. And by things, I mean a giant, roaring, demonic monster is leading the charge. It is a full-blown invasion, with a whole swarm of these hell dragons descending on the stadium. One of them dives straight for the crowd, ready to turn the assessment into a buffet. A Divine Rhino Corps member freaks out, identifying an S-rank demonic dragon and screaming for everyone to run. Yan Hanshuo immediately clocks the timing. They are obviously here for the newly discovered high-potential kids. But a blue-haired captain from the Corps acts fast, yeeting a glowing spear straight through a dragon's skull. He summons his weapon back like Thor, striking a pose for the terrified audience. Then he announces his S-rank spear is in the shop, so he will just have to use his A-rank backup. What a humble guy. He orders his squad to take the B-rank mobs while he solos the S-rank boss, because of course he does. His internal monologue is all about strategy, convinced he can win by exploiting the dragon's weakness. Meanwhile, in the VIP section, a cloaked man gives a quiet order to a hooded woman named Samo. These two are clearly the masterminds, watching their little monsterpocalypse unfold from a safe distance. And Samo pulls out a high-tech sniper rifle because subtlety is for losers. She takes aim from the stands and fires a single, silent shot right into the chaos. This bullet zips through the air, looking suspiciously advanced for a simple projectile. It even transforms mid-flight into some kind of high-tech dart just to be extra. And it finds its target perfectly, hitting the overconfident blue-haired captain right in the neck. This impact sends him flying backward, completely taking him out of the fight he just started. Now he is just clinging to the stage, totally powerless as the real threat begins. This blue-haired captain realizes he has been hit with a dart designed to shut down his body. His mind races, connecting the dots that this whole dragon invasion was a planned assassination. While he is down for the count, the demonic dragons are having a field day, turning the stadium into a bonfire. This remaining guards are basically useless, admitting they have no way to fight an aerial enemy. Amidst the total chaos and screaming, Yan Hanshuo just stands there looking completely unfazed. From the ground, the injured captain spots him just chilling in the middle of a war zone. He even musters the strength to yell at Yan Hanchuo to run, still thinking he is just some random kid. In response, our boy's hand starts glowing as his no-level system decides it is time to clock in. He then summons an impossibly huge spear, casually mentioning he is a bit rusty with it. This little display leaves the captain's jaw on the floor, his brain officially short-circuiting. Yan Hanchuo then asks the downed S-ranker for a quick tutorial on how to use his own weapon, the Absolute Nerve. Elsewhere, a group of very fancy-looking guild masters are watching this whole spectacle in disbelief. One of them is sweating buckets, clearly understanding the world-breaking implications of what he is seeing. His buddies are freaking out, unable to process a kid lifting a weapon far beyond his supposed level. A woman in the group notes that even the original Yan Hanchuo was way weaker at this age. Someone else points out he just broke the old record for wielding an rank weapon by 4 entire years. This bullies are hiding in a corner, having a full-blown crisis realizing they tried to fight a deity. Now the whole crowd is putting it together, that is the SSS-Rank prodigy, and he is just getting started. Yan Hanchuo, holding the rank spear, impatiently asks the captain if he is going to help or not. But the captain scoffs, insisting that just lifting the weapon means nothing without any actual training. Yan Hanchuo gets right in the captain's face, demanding a crash course on spear throwing, not a life story. Stunned but cooperative, the S-ranker starts coaching him from the ground, detailing the exact footwork. Our boy instantly adjusts his stance, absorbing the lesson like he has done this 1,000 times before. Lying there paralyzed, the captain continues his impromptu lesson on arm placement and aiming for accuracy. Yan Hanchuo flawlessly gets into position, holding the massive spear like a seasoned professional. With energy crackling around the weapon, he prepares to throw, looking way too cool for a first-timer. This captain's final piece of advice is basically just yeet it with feeling, which is peak coaching. His eyes wide with focus, Yan Hanchuo channels everything into this one single, perfect throw, and he unleashes the spear in a blinding flash of speed and raw power. This weapon soars through the air, a perfect missile locked onto a demonic dragon. It makes a direct impact, piercing straight through the monster's skull with zero resistance. This dragon's head just completely detonates in a shower of fire and shrapnel. A massive explosion engulfs the S-rank beast, lighting up the entire stadium. As the flaming corpse falls, Yan Hanchuo starts giving a casual lecture on dragon anatomy because why not? He then reveals their secret weakness, just inject their neck with special gasoline and watch them self-destruct. This whole strategy, he notes, is a secret technique he picked up from some other challenger. Just then, another dragon explodes midair, proving his point rather dramatically. Suddenly, a new white-haired pretty boy appears, claiming the kill and telling the captain to take notes. This injured captain looks up, completely stunned to see who just showed up to steal the spotlight. Meanwhile, the crowd absolutely loses it, hailing the new guy as a genius who is even better than Yan Hanchuo. Oh, the ignorance. Suddenly, the crowd parts for a new, ridiculously intimidating squad of VIPs making their grand entrance. One of them, a nun with actual horns, asks her leader for his take on the situation, looking thoroughly unimpressed. Meanwhile, the other high-potential students are now fighting the B-rank dragons swarming the stadium. Yan Hanchuo's daughter and that S-rank ponytail guy immediately jump into the fray to help out. But the S-ranker who called people trash is now sweating, saying they should leave this to the instructors. What a fraud. This new white-haired pretty boy helps the downed captain, who realizes this kid used the exact same secret technique as Yan Hanchuo. And from the sidelines, a slow, deliberate, and deeply sarcastic clap echoes through the chaos. It is the leader of that new squad who congratulates the white-haired kid on being the unprecedented genius they came to see. Yan Hanchuo watches this whole performance with a look that could curdle milk. He is not buying any of it. This new leader then explains to the injured captain that the whole invasion was just a test from the higher-ups. He justifies using an S-rank dragon on teenagers by saying they desperately need new blood since the original Yan Hanchuo died. Then the white-haired kid addresses the leader by name, and it is none other than Yan Zich. A tense stare-down follows between Yan Zich and the captain, who is clearly not thrilled about being a pawn in this test. This new kid then asks the captain if the old Yan Hanchuo left any last words before his supposed death. Yan Zich tries to shut it down, but the captain reveals the original hero did leave a final message. His last wish was for his squad to live without guilt, honoring his sacrifice by moving forward, a classic hero speech. Yan Zich puts on a great show, claiming he hid this message because the guilt was just too much for him to bear. This captain looks over at the white-haired kid, who seems to be taking this all in with a thoughtful expression. With a chilling smile, the kid tells the captain to enjoy this new life and live as long as he can, which sounds a lot like a threat. Behind him, Yan Zich and his whole creepy entourage just look on, radiating pure, unadulterated villain energy. This white-haired kid's crew soaks it all in, ready to enjoy being the center of attention. But Yan Hanchuo is absolutely furious, calling them shameless for their little test stunt. Meanwhile, the crowd goes wild, mobbing the new genius for autographs and blessings. Even Yan Hanchuo's daughter, standing on a dragon corpse, thinks the pretty boy has shown off enough. Just then, the screech of tires announces some very important new arrivals. A whole fleet of luxury cars pulls up, signaling the big shots are here to play. A woman in heels steps out, telling the mob she will only say this once. And by this, she means get lost or meet my Gatling gun effective crowd control, you gotta admit. This fans immediately start scrambling over each other to get away from her. And just like that, the entire area is cleared out in a stampede of pure terror. With the path clear, a distinguished-looking bald man steps out of his car. He rushes straight to Yan Hanshuo, apologizing profusely for not protecting him better. It is the principal of Wubo High, and he is trying to whisk our boy away to rest. But another principal drop-kicks him out of the way, starting an all-out brawl to recruit Yan Hanshuo. Onlookers are stunned, realizing the principals of the four great schools are fighting over the new prodigy. One offers a fat check while another counters with a full set of rank gear. This offers quickly escalate to a priceless S-rank weapon as they physically wrestle for him. Not to be outdone, the Wubo principal kneels, promising a custom-made S-rank weapon. His rivals start sweating, complaining about this insane rat race for one student. From inside another car, a scarred man scoffs, saying these old guys just do not get it. This scarred man scoffs at the other principals, calling them a bunch of clueless old men. Stepping out of his car, he announces that a true powerhouse does not accept cheap handouts. Because to someone on that level, the only truly valuable thing is something else entirely. And he whips out a universal all-access black card, the ultimate recruiting tool. A system window suddenly pops up reading Revenge Progress 1%, and we hit the title card for the no-level system, marking the end of the chapter. This next chapter begins, titled The Person I Want to See Most. A flashback starts showing that same legendary black card in all its glory. One of the old guild masters recalls that only one challenger in history ever possessed it, and that person was none other than the original, supposedly dead Yan Hanshuo. In the past, the original hero asks the scarred principal what the conditions are for getting the card. This principal simply slides the priceless item across the table, offering it to him. He explains it is a custom gift he had made to celebrate the first ever SSS-Rank challenger. This original Yan Hanshuo examines the card, clearly thinking over this massive offer. His condition is a power move he will accept if he can become the school's official spokesperson. Back in the present, the principal tells our Yan Hanshuo that true sincerity is unconditional. This camera pulls back as he stands before the crowd, ready for his big finale, and he proves his point by tossing the priceless artifact through the air. Yan Hanshuo catches it effortlessly, looking completely unimpressed by the whole spectacle. This principal tells him to think it over and then casually gets back in his car. This losing principals watch the limo drive off, absolutely fuming that the scarred guy just stole their prize. One of them whines about the unfairness of it all since that guy's school has state backing, talk about a monopoly. Meanwhile, Yan Hanshuo is in a getaway car with some new kid, ditching a whole mob of rabid followers. This new guy, Woojin, thanks him for the assist and asks where he wants to be dropped off. Our boy just casually says to go to Woojin's house, which completely freaks the kid out. He explains that crashing with the son of an SS ranker is the safest move after today's chaos. Woojin immediately goes full fanboy, planning a photo shoot, and Yan Hanshuo realizes he is just another stan. Just then, his system pings him with a new notification. It is a new mission to solo a B-rank dungeon for an A-rank saber, plus a chance to change his class. He mulls it over, thinking a class change is tempting since his old style does not fit heavy weapons. But he puts a pin in that, deciding there is something way more important he needs to do first. He asks for a quick detour, and Woojin immediately panics, thinking he is being ditched. Yan Hanshuo clarifies he just needs to see someone and will get picked up later. Standing outside an apartment building, he thinks this is the one person he can truly be honest with. With a look of pure determination, he heads for the door. His bandaged hand raises to knock on the apartment door. A voice calls out from inside, and he just waits for the big reunion. As the door opens, he peeks in with a small, knowing smile. But that smile vanishes instantly, replaced by total, utter shock. Because the person standing there is a man with glasses, looking just as surprised to see him. An awkward stare-down ensues between Yan Hanshuo and this random guy with glasses. Then a woman appears, and the glasses guy immediately accuses our boy of visiting someone else's fiancée. Yan Hanshuo just lowers his head, letting the accusation hang in the air for a moment, before plastering on a fake smile and claiming to be the original hero's secret sworn brother. He is just here, he says, to deliver a final keepsake from his dead brother to the grieving woman. This glasses-wearing dude totally falls for it, thinking the resemblance finally makes perfect sense. So he invites him in, and Yan Hanshuo is just internally roasting him for being such a terrible actor. Once inside, our boy flips the script, asking why this guy is hanging out with his brother's fiancée. This man just scoffs, completely unimpressed by the question. With a smug little smile, he tells Yan Hanshuo that there has been a huge misunderstanding, because when he said someone else's fiancée, he was actually talking about his fiancée. And to really rub it in, he announces they are getting married in just 1 month. He lays it all out for them, making it clear the wedding is a done deal. Yan Hanshuo just stands there silently, taking in this absolute bombshell of a reveal. But the woman finally explodes, shouting that she never agreed and her parents cannot force her. A heavy silence falls between them, the air thick with her defiance and his smug confidence. He calmly informs her that her parents have already been sending out wedding invitations all day. Then he points out how her family was never this proactive when she was with the original Yan Hanshuo. What a snake. Our boy realizes this guy has her parents completely wrapped around his finger, unlike him. And the three of them just stand there in the most painfully awkward silence imaginable. And Yan Hanshuo just breaks the silence with a wild, maniacal laugh. He starts roasting the fiancée, saying no wonder his brother could keep her love. Then he kicks back, adding that he would not marry the guy either since he is always sucking up to her parents. Our boy even suggests the fiancée is just trying to start a weird love triangle with her mom and dad, an absolutely savage burn. Both the woman and her new man are completely floored by this outrageous accusation. Her eyes widen, clearly shocked but maybe a little intrigued by his sheer nerve. A quick flashback shows the original Yan Hanshuo, and she thinks this new kid feels strangely familiar. Back in the present, she is blushing, totally thrown off by this kid who just waltzed in and took over the room. This fiancé demands he hand over the keepsake and leave, but Yan Hanshuo just mocks him for trying to bully a teenager. So he pulls out a box, claiming his brother's dying wish was for it to be delivered in private. With a sinister glint in his eye, he is clearly enjoying manipulating the hell out of this situation. This fiancé starts sweating bullets, completely falling for the lie about some unforeseen accident. Meanwhile, the woman just looks on, lost in sad memories of her former love. She finally tells the fiancé, who we now know as Yan Zich, to leave, saying the keepsake is too important. As he is forced out, Yan Hanshuo just lounges on the couch, having won this round completely. But Yan Zich gets a parting shot in, reminding her the wedding invitations are already sent. This door clicks shut, leaving just the two of them alone in the apartment. Now that they are alone, she stands before him, the air thick with unspoken questions. Yan Hanshuo places the small red box on the table between them, mission accomplished. He then says Yan Zich is probably waiting outside, so he will just slip out through a window, leaving her completely baffled. Suddenly, she panics, telling Yan Hanshuo her parents are home and he has to escape through the study window. This leaves her completely stunned, wondering how in the world he knew they were about to arrive. Meanwhile, our boy is already out on the balcony, taking a quiet moment to look over the city. He then turns back with a charming grin and a wave, promising he will see her later. His departure leaves her completely speechless and emotional, tears welling up in her eyes. With a final wave, Yan Hanshuo makes his smooth exit, leaving her standing there alone. A single tear finally rolls down her cheek as the weight of everything that just happened sinks in. Later, she is standing outside, just staring up at the now empty window he used to escape. This camera pulls back, showing the quiet apartment buildings under the dark night sky. Up on a rooftop, Yan Hanshuo sets his new goal. He has 1 month to find leverage and stop that wedding. A system mission then pops up to solo a B-rank dungeon, totally interrupting his plans for a class change. But his eyes show pure resolve because this new mission is exactly the power-up he needs. Realizing he is on a tight schedule, he knows he has to grind and get stronger immediately. Wasting no time, he immediately pulls out his phone to make a call. This guy on the other end offers a pickup, but Yan Hanshuo cuts to the chase, asking for an unconquered B-rank dungeon. His friend stammers in disbelief, realizing the insane plan as our boy stands silhouetted against the moon. Yan Hanshuo just confirms it without a hint of doubt. He's going to solo a B-rank dungeon. Downstairs, the fiancé Yan Zich is still stewing, wondering why the kid has not left yet, so much for a quick visit. And just like that, Yan Hanshuo is walking through the creepy abandoned streets of the dungeon zone. As he walks, system windows flash, equipping him with a full set of C-rank gear for the fight ahead. He is glad for the new gear, noting it gives him a much-needed margin for error. And his character status bar confirms it. He has got some serious buffs across the board. Turns out Woojin's people hooked him up, totally floored that a 15-year-old is this reckless. Inside the dungeon, Yan Hanshuo knows the real danger is not the boss but the random elite mobs. He's just wondering what he is up against when a zombie decides to introduce itself from behind. Our boy just casually one-shots the thing, looking completely over this whole apocalypse already. With his new saber, he slices another one clean in half, racking up that sweet, sweet exp. So it is a zombie dungeon, specifically designed to test his spirit and endurance. Fantastic. And just like that, the entire undead neighborhood shows up for a meet and greet. He immediately realizes his support crew forgot the one thing he actually needs, a spirit-boosting necklace. This means getting hit even once is basically game over since the infection will wreck his stats. Not about to wait around, he decides to go on the offensive while they are still a disorganized mess. Yan Hanshuo just wades into the horde, cutting them down left and right in a blur of motion. But the rank saber is way too heavy and he cannot swing it fast enough to keep up. So he switches to martial arts, delivering a swift kick that sends a zombie flying through the air. Then he cleverly plants the massive sword into the ground, using it as an anchor point. This lets him pivot and slice another one down, proving he is more than just brute strength. His hand starts glowing with power as he prepares to unleash a new skill. It is a weapon recall, and that saber is about to become a zombie shish kebab boomerang. Catching it midair, he calls out his next attack with a smirk, G-Ghost. He unleashes a massive ghost slash, sending a wave of blue energy tearing through the zombie horde. System notifications flood his screen, confirming a whole bunch of B-rank monster kills and a ton of X. This street below is just an absolute graveyard, littered with the remains of his one-shot victims. Completely gassed, Yan Hanshuo chugs a recovery potion, his fatigue meter hitting a critical 147 out of 150. He admits the stamina drain from that one move was way more intense than he'd anticipated. Our boy also realizes this heavy saber is a problem since he cannot use his old skills and has to just brute force it. In fact, his unfamiliarity with the weapon almost got him tagged more than once during the fight. Just as he is catching his breath, two new figures appear on a nearby rooftop watching him. And would you look at that, it is Frankenstein and his bride, here to crash the party with some elite mob energy. Yan Hanshuo immediately questions their timing, wondering why they are showing up alone now. This female monster just gives him a sinister smile as a dark purple aura starts swirling around her. And suddenly, all the zombies he just killed start getting back up, reanimated by her power. He instantly figures out their game plan. They are trying to wear him down with an endless war of attrition. His new undead fan club leaders just watch from above, totally confident their little trick will work. Now completely surrounded, Yan Hanshuo has reanimated zombies crawling up the walls toward him. So he just detonates his own power in a massive purple explosion that rocks the entire area. This sudden, overwhelming power surge completely wipes the smug looks off the elite monsters' faces. Yan Hanshuo thanks them for the intel, noting that even though his level has dropped to C-rank, the titles he earned in his past life are still very much active, including one called Zombie Reaper, and that little title has a very specific perk. It causes permanent death, completely shutting down any resurrection skills. Yan Hanshuo gets a little nostalgic, remembering how he used to grind these zombie dungeons back in his first life. With a seriously menacing glare, he tells the monsters he could not care less about their tragic backstories. To him, they are nothing more than a walking pile of exp just waiting to be cashed in. This trash talk works a little too well, sending the bride into a full-on rage with a major attack buff. Our boy thinks he's got her right where he wants her, planning a perfect mid-air counterkill. But then a bunch of weird projectiles fly past, completely derailing his brilliant strategy. Turns out the elite mobs just use the attack as a distraction to reposition on a nearby rooftop. From her perch, the bride watches as Frankenstein leaps down into the street below. And his big mouth just summoned the dungeon boss early, who is now super enraged and comes with a 200% reward bonus. Yan Hanshuo finally admits this might be a little more difficult than he anticipated, you think. This new boss is an absolute unit, towering over the ruined city streets and looking ready to party. He knows the biggest mistake in a solo run is fighting multiple bosses at once, which is exactly his current situation. A quick mental breakdown confirms it. He is at a disadvantage in speed, HP, and attack power, just fantastic odds. Seeing that the main boss is slow, his new plan is to kite the two elites and take them out first. With a new strategy in mind, he turns to put some distance between them. But he is shocked to see the two elites are not even chasing him, they are just watching from the sidelines. Meanwhile, the main boss is just casually chugging some kind of mystery juice from a metal flask. And by juice, I mean he is literally eating his own giant, spiky metal club, which he then spits out like a cannonball, launching it directly at our boy, forcing Yan Hanshuo into a desperate dive as the makeshift projectile screams past his head. This club-turned cannonball absolutely demolishes a skyscraper because property damage is free exp. From the dust cloud, the two elites wonder if they actually got him. But Yan Hanshuo teleports right behind them like a Shounen protagonist, ready for round 2. He swings for Frankenstein, but the bride takes the hit for her man. How romantic. Now it is a three-way standoff, and our boy looks way too calm for someone this outnumbered. Frankenstein starts healing up, confirming that was a pretty close shave for him. Yan Hanshuo realizes he is a recovery type, annoyed his heavy saber could not land the one shot. With the main boss still just vibing, a perfect sneak attack opportunity is totally wasted. A system window helpfully points out the boss is now enraged, trading defense for a huge attack boost. Deciding to pick off the fastest one first, Yan Hanshuo sets his sights on the bride. He charges forward and a tip pops up pointing to a weak spot for a 300% damage bonus. Using the main boss as a distraction, he zips past and lands a clean slice on the bride. This big guy is not happy about being used as a stepping stone. So he brings his giant fist down, aiming to flatten the entire street. Yan Hanshuo dodges the slam, but he is not out of the woods yet. Frankenstein grabs his arm midair, finally getting a solid hit in. In response, Yan Hanshuo delivers a brutal kick right to the monster's gut. This kick sends Frankenstein flying, but not before he tags our boy with some nasty projectiles. A system warning confirms he is infected, with all his stats tanking as the elites gloat. Now on the ground and weakened, Yan Hanshuo can only look up as the main boss prepares to finish him. This main boss makes its grand entrance, landing with a boom that shakes the whole city block. Its impact sends shockwaves of shattered pavement ripping through the street. Caught in the blast, Yan Hanshuo struggles to keep his footing as the world explodes around him. This bride elite just smirks, taunting him that there is absolutely no way he is getting out of this one. And she is right, because a surprise attack slices clean through him before he can even react, which sends his entire arm flying through the air, a pretty significant handicap in a boss fight. This main boss then casually picks up the severed limb like a little party favor, giving our boy a terrifying grin before deciding it is time for a snack. In a flash, Yan Hanshuo is grabbed and shoved right into the monster's giant, gaping maw, finding himself trapped between rows of razor-sharp teeth with nowhere to go. He is swallowed whole, plunging into the dark, fleshy abyss of the monster's stomach. As he falls, his consciousness starts to fade in the suffocating darkness. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon, Woojin and his buddy are interrupted by a car pulling up, and outsteps the principal of Jinhui High looking like he is here on serious business. Turns out he put a tracker in that black card and knew the kid was here, so much for privacy. This principal is freaking out, saying even the original Yan Hanshuo waited until he was 18 for this kind of stunt. While he is praying for a miracle, our boy is literally marinating inside the boss's gut. His life flashes before his eyes, specifically memories of the girl he is fighting for. And that gives him the resolve he needs because he is not dying here, not with a system window popping up. It is the class change dungeon, offering a full stat refresh upon entry, his one-way ticket out of this mess. This system offers him a class change dungeon with a full stat refresh as a welcome bonus. Without a second thought, Yan Hanshuo smashes that confirm button like his life depends on it. He is instantly teleported from a monster's gut to a seriously spooky gothic cathedral. Our boy finds himself on the floor, looking like he just got spat out by a giant monster, which he did. And would you look at that, his arm is back, though he is still a bit disoriented. Shaking off the near-death experience, he slowly comes back to his senses. A system window pops up, confirming he's been fully healed and all debuffs are gone, a clean slate. He flashes back to the brutal fights he just barely survived, a grim reminder of the stakes. Yan Hanshuo cannot believe his luck, realizing this special mission was his only way out of certain death. But there is a catch. After this, he's going right back to that B-rank boss fight, so this better count. He's determined to use this chance to find the perfect class to unleash his full potential. With his resolve hardened, he hits the start button to begin his trial. This test immediately throws a whole squad of armored knights at him with points on the line for kills. Round 1's weapon is a dagger and the system hands him a pretty wicked-looking one. His stats are instantly re-optimized for an assassin build, boosting his speed and evasion. He immediately zips forward and one-shots a knight, scoring an instant kill on a vital point. Leaping through the air, Yan Hanshuo becomes a blur of motion, dodging attacks with ease. He lands on 2 more knights, driving his daggers home for a double instant kill. This whole test just turns into a high-speed montage of him absolutely shredding these knights. Next up is the saber, and his stats shift to pure strength, making him wish he had this build earlier. With the saber in hand, he stands over a literal mountain of dismantled knights. These poor test dummies just dissolve into purple sludge once they are defeated. But the test is not over, spawning a giant knight and forcing a change in tactics. Yan Hanshuo knows that against a tank this big, a one-hit kill is not the smart play. So his first move is to go for the legs, crippling its mobility right off the bat, and it works perfectly, bringing the massive armored goon down to its knees. Using the knight as his personal climbing wall, he sprints up its body for the kill shot. Winding up his saber, he prepares to deliver a devastating blow right to the head. He unleashes the Lion's Roar Cleave, a B-rank skill with a massive spectral lion to back it up. This attack lands with blinding force, completely shattering the knight's helmet. And with that, the giant boss is obliterated, marking another test complete. This trials continue with a weapon montage, starting with him carving up mobs with a lightsaber, followed by a hammer test where he just smashes his way through the opposition. Then he gets a katana, turning the arena into a deadly web of pink energy slashes. They even test his ranged game, making him spear a dragon out of the sky for points. After running the full gauntlet, the system finally begins analyzing his proficiency. Yan Hanshuo looks exhausted but confident, wondering which weapon will be his final choice. This system declares his dagger skills are at 98 points mastered, and he seems fine with that. But then a big fat error pops up because it seems his dagger score also hit 98 points. Wait, what? Suddenly, a dozen system panels appear, revealing he did not just master one weapon, he mastered them all. Yan Hanshuo looks absolutely smug as the system confirms he basically broke the grading curve on every test. Because he aced every single metric, the system makes an exception and offers him a special, exclusive profession. He is now a weapon master, able to use multiple classes and swap weapons on the fly inside dungeons. Our boy is ecstatic, realizing this is a unique class custom-built just for his ridiculous talents. His mind races with the possibilities, knowing he can adapt to any enemy and always have the upper hand. But there is a catch. To add more professions, he has to kill other challengers and steal their classes, yikes. For a split second, he seems a little surprised by the whole murder for upgrades clause. That surprise immediately turns into a psycho grin because that is exactly the kind of gameplay he was hoping for. Just before he is sent back, another system window pops up with one last message. To help him understand his new class, the system is giving him a little demonstration before the main event. He gets a one-time free trial of the fully unlocked Weapon Master class, basically God mode for a bit. A new Revenge Progress meter appears, ticking up to a very modest 3.8%. Back in the dungeon, the main boss is just standing around, looking a bit queasy after its recent meal. Frankenstein and the bride are confused, wondering why the zombies are not respawning since they killed the intruder. Suddenly, the boss's stomach starts glowing as a massive tear rips open from the inside. His 2 elites turn around, sensing that their big guy is having some serious indigestion. Their jaws drop as they watch their boss literally start to burst at the seams. Meanwhile, the girl he is fighting for is back home, holding a small gift box he left for her. She wonders what he could have possibly wanted to give her that was so important. As she opens it, her eyes go wide with shock at whatever she finds inside. In a flashback, she asks why he is giving her this mysterious little box. Yan Hanshuo explains it is a life force orb. If it glows, he is still kicking out there. But she refuses, saying that would just make her a nervous wreck checking it 24/7. Which brings us back to the present where she is crying over that very same box. Because inside that little orb is glowing brighter than a Christmas tree, he is alive. And by alive, we mean he is slicing his way out of the boss's stomach like a chestburster. This little stunt leaves Frankenstein and the bride completely speechless. Yan Hanshuo makes his grand re-entrance, landing like a superhero right in front of them. He just smirks, casually pointing out how shocked they look to see him. A system window confirms he is now a greatsword Hercules with maxed out attack and speed. This bride is losing her mind, wondering how the hell he can just swap weapon classes. Our boy tells her to chill out because the real show is just getting started. Then he summons a glowing blue dagger ready for round 2 with a new style. Another window pops up. He is now a dagger assassin and he is not done showing off. He zips toward the bride as a system tip points out her weak spot for 300% damage. With his new speed, he lands a devastating slash before she can even blink. Meanwhile, Frankenstein tries to pull his signature healing move, glowing with green energy. But Yan Hanshuo is already on him, shattering his arm before the region can even kick in. He coldly asks if his healing is faster than his slashes, a rhetorical question obviously. And with a flurry of blades, he turns Frankenstein into confetti, ending the fight instantly. This bride elite unleashes a storm of slashes, thinking she has got him cornered. Her attack is a blinding web of light, seemingly impossible to dodge or block. And for a split second, it looks like he's been completely vaporized by the assault. She stands there all smug, thinking she is won, but those are not his body parts falling. Because Yan Hanshuo is right behind her, revealing it was his flurry of demons skill all along. With a stone-cold look, he just says next, ready to finish the job. He lunges forward, dagger gleaming, closing the distance before she can even process what happened. She barely manages to get her own blade up to parry his lightning-fast strike. Thinking she is clever, the bride leaps back to create distance, planning to exploit his dagger's short range. But Yan Hanshuo just gives her a look that says, "You have activated my trap card." He instantly swaps to a bow sharpshooter, maxing out his attack and accuracy, so much for her brilliant strategy. A single, supercharged arrow flies through the air faster than a speeding bullet. It slams right into her chest, and the look on her face is pure, unadulterated shock. This impact sends her flying across the pavement like a ragdoll. In her final moments, she can only wonder how any of this is even possible. And Yan Hanshuo answers by switching to a Scythe Reaper, because why not add insult to injury?